There are a lot of movies on Netflix, and because of that, sometimes things can get buried. So today we're talking 5 hidden gems on Netflix. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is part of an ongoing series I have called What to Watch on Netflix. Now today, we are talking hidden gems, and a lot of those hidden gems, possibly all of them, are independent movies. But fear not if you're an independent movie fan, because I do have a separate list coming out talking strictly independent films that are less so hidden, that more people may know about. But in this video, we're talking movies that I just don't see talked about as often as maybe they deserve, and films that I actually discovered recently were hidden gems by watching them for the first time. So a bit of a personal touch in here, but I cannot wait to talk about this. I need you in the comments down below. Obviously, we're only talking 5, so it's not every hidden gem. But if you have a hidden gem, something you're recommending for everyone watching, or me in particular, let me know. I'll be on the lookout. And if you enjoy this series, be sure to smash that thumbs up. But let's get right into this, starting with number 1. This is a fantasy horror / sci-fi film that dropped in 2017. This is called The Endless. So, as kids, they escaped a UFO death cult. Now, 2 adult brothers seek answers for an old videotape that surfaces and brings them back to where they began. Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson are your stars. They're also your directors, and this is one of those movies that you watch and you just have this odd feeling in your stomach and your chest the entire time, because it does such a good job of building the intensity, but doing it very subtly. It is a freaky film. What goes down when they actually arrive to this group, this cult that they were a part of, and the things that start to escalate. And you're obviously going to have one of the brothers that sits there and thinks, nah, I don't know if this actually happened. We were young. Maybe my memories are a bit And then the other brother is pretty sure that things did go down the way that they did go down, but they're both in for a rude awakening when they arrive at this cult. Now, being a movie based on something like that, you can kind of expect where it's going to go. I'm not sitting back saying The Endless is the best movie that you'll watch on Netflix, but I had a good time with it because it was different enough. And just looking at the poster and watching that trailer, you can get an idea of if you're going to be into this movie or not. A lot of unknowns, definitely an unknown group of writers / directors to the broad audience. Now, I know you film buffs, you've probably watched a lot of the movies on this list, but in terms of The Endless, if you haven't seen it and you like a movie like this, I think you should check it out. Next up is 2013's Locke, starring Tom Hardy. Also, Tom Holland, Olivia Colman, Ruth Wilson, Andrew Scott, but really, it's Tom Hardy, because all you see throughout the entire film is Tom Hardy. So you have Ivan Locke, a dedicated family man and successful construction manager, who receives a phone call on the eve of the biggest challenge of his career that sets in motion a series of events that threaten his carefully cultivated existence. This is directed by Stephen Knight. Tom Hardy, a true actor, and the reason why we know that from this film is because it's all Tom Hardy. This is one of those movies that takes place in one location. You are with him 100% of the time. It is all about the performance. Now, the story is important, and I like the story, but it's nowhere close to being in this situation with him for the entire movie. Now, Stephen Knight is a director that I'm just not all the way there on as a whole, because he did bring us Serenity last year, but in terms of what he did with Locke, I was very impressed. If you are watching a movie to see a really phenomenal performance, if you're watching a film to be with a character that is purely a character study for, I believe, 90 minutes, this is the movie for you. It's dramatic, it's thrilling, it's everything you want a film like this to be, but keep in mind that we never leave the vehicle. We are with Tom Hardy 100% of the time. So if you're into that kind of thing, I think Locke is a hidden gem on Netflix that a lot of people should check out. The fact that this movie got good reviews is crazy, but deserved. Now, when approaching this list, I didn't just want to do it from my perspective, from my standpoint on all of these films. I wanted to throw in some things that I think a lot of other people really enjoy, that I've heard, that resonate with them maybe a bit more than me. And not that Free Fire didn't resonate with me. I enjoyed this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. But in regards to other films from this company, in regards to other films involving these actors, I didn't necessarily love it. But if you're looking for the perfect movie to kind of, not shut your brain off completely too, but just kind of watch, have fun with, you're in for a lot of action, you're in for a lot of stars, I think Free Fire is a movie for you. So this is set in Boston in 1978, and this is a meeting in a deserted warehouse between two gangs that turns into a shootout and a game of survival. And this cast is crazy. You have Armie Hammer, Cillian Murphy, Charlton Copley, Brie Larson, Sam Riley, Jack Rayner, and basically the title is exactly what you get. It is an all-out war, an all-out free fire between these two gangs, and you never know who you can trust. You never know who is maybe working for the other crew and they say that they're on your side. And the entire film is all about these guys going at it, trying to hide in different places, and you get a lot of gunfire, a lot of action because of that. Now, in terms of overall story, overall narrative, no, you don't get as much as maybe you're hoping for in regards of that, and that's why I didn't love this film, but I still had a lot of fun with it, and not a lot of people have watched this film. So if you want something fun, full of action, it's a good time, Free Fire may be a movie for you. Now, I know I may be alone in saying this is a hidden gem, but I wanted to throw my perspective in this as well. So, for a long time, scrolling through Netflix, I would see this movie called About Time. And every time I would see it, I would go, it's got good reviews, I've heard good things, I'm just not in the mood for it right now. I like the cast. I think Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams, they're great, but I'm just not in the mood for it. So finally, this past week, I went and I watched as soon as the movie was over. I sat back and thought of this idea for a video. I said, that was a hidden gem on Netflix. Now, it has the most ratings on IMDb of all of these films, and a lot of people have seen this movie. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's a hidden gem for everyone. But for me, About Time was really, really great. It's now one of my favorite movies of 2013. So at the age of 21, Tim discovers that he can travel in time and change what happens and has happened in his own life. His decision to make his world a better place by getting a girlfriend turns out not to be as easy as you might think. This is directed by Richard Curtis, and it is a comedic, dramatic, wonderful movie, but it also has these fantastical elements because you're dealing with time travel and what happens because of what they're doing. Now, I will say, in terms of how they handle certain time travel elements and the stakes of what he does in certain situations, it may not play out in the most believable way, but what I like about this film is that they establish, okay, we're not going to bother with all of the technical things. Here's what we can do. Here's how we do it. Here's why we do it. They expect you to buy it right then. If you buy it, and if you're not annoyed by how they go about it, it's a wonderful romantic comedy, and it's just a wonderful, heartfelt, loving movie. It's not going to play out in the way that everyone believes, especially after the first 20 minutes, because it's like, okay, what's going to happen with this? No, it plays out, it tells its story, and I love a good, I'll say family-centric, because I don't want to spoil anything, a good family-centric story. And this film, there are a couple of touching moments towards the end that just had my heart breaking. I thought it was wonderful. So About Time, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but it was, for me, a hidden gem that I watched recently, and oh my goodness, I was like, how did I miss this? So really quick, before we get into number one, there are technically 6 movies on this list, but I didn't want to make it one of the 5 because Daniel Blake, and I know not a lot of people, especially in the U.S., have watched this, is available in the United States for like 4 more days. Right? So I think it goes away on the 19th, and as soon as you watch this video, you're going to have to watch it, or it's going to be gone. And maybe you're watching this video after, and it's already gone, but Daniel Blake is a movie that I believe everyone should watch. So you're dealing with a man who suffered a heart attack. He's 59 years old. He's a carpenter, and he must fight the bureaucratic forces of the system in order to receive employment and support allowance. It's a subtle, wonderful character study of this character in Daniel Blake, who is played by Dave Johns, who I thought gave an award-worthy performance. And it's also subtle, and you're really just dealing with this guy who's going through this thing, but it means so much to him, it means so much to the people around him, and everyone cares for him, and he cares for everyone, even though sometimes he doesn't want to show it. It is a movie that I believe is worth a watch, so just wanted to throw that in there. It's kind of like an honorable mention, because it's going to be gone very soon. So I love talking about David Lowery. I think David Lowery is one of the most underrated directors in Hollywood right now. I also love talking about A Ghost Story. My experience with A Ghost Story back in 2017 was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I watched it in a small theater, what we call a Kentucky theater, because I'm from Kentucky. And you pair that artistic theater with the artistic experience with the most artistic movie that is not for everyone that I've ever seen in A Ghost Story. So you're dealing with an exploration of legacy, loss, love, and the enormity of existence. So you have a recently deceased ghost who returns to his suburban home to try to reconnect with his wife. And Casey Affleck, Rooney Mara. And Casey Affleck's performance is great, but he's not in the movie all that much. You're dealing with this ghost, and here's what I mean when I say dealing with this ghost. It's not a scary movie. It's not a movie that's going to keep you on your toes. It is a fantasy/romantic film with a lot of drama in there, and there are these prolonged scenes where the ghost is sitting and watching its former wife. And when I say prolonged scenes, I mean there's one scene in this movie where the girl is sitting and eating pie, and I think she eats the pie for like 5, 8, 10 minutes, something like that, and that's all it is. And you just see him staring at her in the background. That's the kind of movie this is. And it's not a movie that you put on if you're just going to, do something else and have this on in the background. No. That is not a ghost story. You have to pay attention. It is an artistic experience, so it's not going to be for everyone. My wife and I walked out, and I heard so many groans, and people were like, "What? That's the worst movie I've ever seen." And we were just like... yeah, but we loved it. So it's not a film I would ever recommend to like my friends in real life, but I'm going to recommend it to some of the film buffs watching, because if you haven't seen it, if you're a film buff, you probably have seen it, but if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix right now, so go check out A Ghost Story. I believe it's a hidden gem. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully I gave you a wide array of different movies. If you're in a mood for an artistic film, or if you're in the mood for something action-filled, and let me know how many you have watched, how many you end up watching, and if you've seen like 5 for 5 or even 6 for 6, that's impressive. So I'd love to know that as well. If you guys enjoy this video, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. Let me know if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you very soon.